Hola, patrons, patrones hermosos y damas. We're going to do On Your Own 5 today, which is an extension of Lesson 5. And what that means is we have filter envelopes, okay? And we also have amp envelopes. But we're doing this inside of Massive, so Massive doesn't have any default modulation assignments. Okay, there's no dedicated filter envelope. You can use any of the available 4, but 4 is by default assigned to the amp. So this 4 is actually your amp envelope. Actually, you know, it'd be cool if you could label these, like double click and change their value, but you can't. So you can see that the attack on the amp is all the way down. We can open up the filter just to make it sound a little bit more normal. Okay, and then let me turn the fader down. Okay, so yeah, the attack is down. The sustain level is all the way up, so that's in contrast to this, let's say. Sorry. That I'm holding the key, but it fades out anyway. And if I tap it, the release is really short. So that's your basic ADSR function, okay? But with the filter, we don't have any of that. Let's just turn the level back up. It just stays bright. Or here, just stays dark. But what if we want it to go? Well, we can do that. We just take one of these envelopes, grab the handle, and drag it to one of these places where it says minus. I think you can do it here too, but keep it simple. And then click and drag up. And basically what that means is your value is going to start here. It's going to go that far and come back. So that's how you do your envelope modulation depth, or in the primer synth, it's like envelope amount, filter envelope amount. That's basically what that is. Just a different way of doing it. So turn the attack down, level all the way up, and we got to adjust the release. And remember, we need to have a long enough release on the amp envelope to hear what we do for the filter envelope. Okay, I think we should do a little more. I want more of a wow sound. But in order to do that, it needs to go wow, not ow. So we need to increase the attack. Pretty much, maybe not that much. Yeah. Want it to go farther down. And get brighter. Just want to touch that high buzziness. Okay? We're not doing resonance. But that does help exemplify what is happening with the filter envelope. Wherever that buzzy, like extra voice in there, wherever that is basically exactly outlining your filter envelope, which is here. Okay? But our job is to make pads. Alright? He wants us to make 3 pads, all different, soft, just like a pad should be. You know, that's why we don't sleep on bricks, I guess. Some people do. Alright, so that's how you do your filter envelope assignment. But I don't want to make a pad out of that. So I'll start from scratch with the initialized patch we made. And that sounds like a pretty good place. Nice and dark, so it's going to push it back. The problem is, with a pad, for it to be like pushed back, it has to be pushed back from something. But if you just open up the cutoff, you can push it back from that, okay? But a pad coming in right away is okay, I guess, in terms of the attack, but giving it a little character there. You can hear it almost has a sidechain effect right there. That's very tappy. That would probably stay out of the way of other more percussive sounds. Because you want to use contrast when you're making something. You want to have some things that are plucky and bell-like, and you want to have other things which kind of support that in a soft way. And so that means a soft attack. You don't want transients to kind of come together all at once. Okay, and a pad, why would it just stop like that? It kind of defeats the whole purpose, you know, of the pad creating sort of a bed. It's like a blanket that just barely covers your legs, you know, just right over the toes. Where this is like, ah, yes, I can move my feet. I'm thinking of an end of a song, you know, if I was to hit a chord or something. I want it to fade out like that. So that's why I have this kind of release, okay? Working my keyboard skills. All right, so that's our chords, right? But it just kind of lays there. You know, we talked about this with the transposing and stuff. So why don't we add a transposed oscillator? Why the hell not? See, right there, you hear that, it starts to get a little phasey sounding. Hear that, as opposed to this? It does get louder, but, you could turn that phasing off. Restart via gate. We'll get into that later with Centaurial, but yeah, I think we should leave that off because I like the phasiness. You know, we could even just double and detune. We haven't covered that in Centaurial yet, but we could in this case. Oh, that's cool. Maybe we don't quite need that much. Okay, not bad. Okay, so this internal envelope I was telling you about, that's pretty much exactly what we were dealing with. I don't know if I can assign it here. No, I think that's only here. So, yeah, that's our first one, okay? So let's reinitialize. And make another pad. So, you know, let's start with the same chords. And now why don't we make this one bounce a little bit? So, I don't care about this. We're supposed to use envelopes, but let's cheat. Let's use an LFO. Now, an LFO it's kind of like an envelope, but not really. Where an envelope has kind of a linear path that it follows, unless you do some looping, which I'm not entirely sure how to do here in Massive just yet. But yeah, an envelope is going to go one way in the door and out the back door. I don't know, but an LFO is going to sit there and waft around indefinitely. And that's the kind of effect that I wanted for this. We can make it more subtle, you know, and maybe we'll just give it a little bit more attack. You can also like delay this. See where it says attack? If we don't want it to come in all the way, we can do that in the amplitude right here. See if I bring it here, let's turn the amp envelope all the way down. Immediately it starts doing the wobble. But if I increase this time, oh geez, it's just like this. I need to modulate it. That's just too long. You could hear it coming in, but here's a little bit shorter. See how that works? Just like this, okay? And it's just like the one in Centaurial. But now I need to increase my amp envelope release time for you to hear if I was going to give it some decay as well. So here's no decay. It stops pumping immediately, but if I leave it, it'll keep going. You know, you can hardly hear that, but let me turn it up. Let me increase this, make it more obvious. Yeah, see, hear how it faded out, but it kept doing the pump. And then without, yeah, so whatever. Somewhere in the middle is fine. We maybe want a little of this. Let's hear it. Okay. This knob right here is the amplitude of this LFO. So just like turning up the volume on an oscillator, this is increasing the power that this signal has. And this in turn is kind of doing it again here to how far this knob is getting turned. So yeah. I don't want that much in the beginning. And I don't want it that much in the end either. You know, for some reason, it doesn't really sound like it's holding that value. You hear it? It's like the internal envelope is just doing its own thing and just like not waiting for me to release the key. That's so weird. Well, there you go. But the sound is kind of boring. And I want to try something different. I want to maybe... we could use the same LFO and change the wave table position from square to saw, maybe? Doesn't really do as much as you'd think. What if I, maybe, you know what I could do is I could take, maybe not this one, I could take this envelope and use the cutoff just like, you know, we're supposed to, and then just have it fade in. So that's cool. It's not terrible. I would kind of like to add maybe some distortion or something to it. Maybe noise. Maybe not noise. Maybe we can do some kind of insert. It's just adding brightness. Maybe some feedback. No. I can change the position of the feedback. I'm reading the manual, and you know, they talk about this stuff. Kind of all gives that effect. That definitely seems like a cool effect to have. No. Well, I mean, that's definitely cooler than... I mean, that's cool. It's got that little inner voice, but what about this? It's a cool sound, so let's save it. And let's do a third one. Why does that always sound like Crocodile Rock to me? So we want to make these different, right? Long release, soft, low cutoff, filter envelope, make different. So the first two, what's the first one that I have? Wavy. Alright, wavy's cool. And then, what about wavy gravy? I mean, they're both pads. They're pretty different. But they are kind of similar. This one's just a lot less subtle than this one. Yeah, so now we have to make something totally new, something different. So, as Julian Bradley likes to say, variation. Vary what you can. So who's to say that the pad can't come on strong? And who's to say that it can't stop abruptly? Nobody. Now, who's to say I can't change the filter that I use? I was thinking, what if I made it a bandpass? It's a different filter type. I mean, that's kind of neat. You know, depending on where it needs to sit. Do whatever you want with it. But I think we should give it an attack, you know, like I said, or have it fade out or something, you know what I mean? So let's give it this, and like a slow attack, like an immediate attack, bring it up and just have a super long release, not release, but decay. It's a different kind of thing, but it basically is going to start here and then just gradually fade based on how long this decay is, which in this case is long. So let's hear how that sounds. This sounds pretty neat, but maybe a little lower here, and then maybe not quite as much of this. Yeah, we need to make that a lot longer. Yeah, that's kind of cool. You know, kind of settles into something. Starts thin, which in its own way is kind of distant. Just kind of mellows out. Now, I don't like that abrupt release. It's a cool sound. You know, why not play the main rhythm with the pad? You know, why not? Oh, we can do some effects. We could try the dimension expander. Well, it's definitely making it louder. Let me hear how that sounds in stereo. Yeah, that's cool. Why don't we modulate that? Whatever. LFO. It's pretty dope, right? But I really still think that our release needs to be longer, man. I don't like this short release. No, that's nasty. Why? Because my filter release is low. You hear how it just kind of like cuts off? Just chokes it? I don't like it. It's still too freaking quick. And the filter envelope needs to be longer, man. I don't really want it to fade. That's more like it. But I mean, since we can't really make it the same kind of release as the other ones, why don't we just make it super long? The amp envelope, that is. That's just like stupid long. What in the holy glitch was that, Batman? Did you see this over here? I got it on tape. Massive can't handle these patches, man. You know, while we're at it, see how I was saying I'm using 5 voices here? Looks like I'm using 2 voices per note. Don't know why, but I was thinking, what if I did some unison on it? I mean, that's like a whole nother level of freaking crazy. So there we go. We're back to using one voice per note. What if I do 2? What happens then? Let's wait for this to cut out. So now each note gets 2 voices. So that's how that works. And we're limited to a max of 16 by this. So if I hit it a bunch of times, we immediately get to 16. But yeah, we're gonna go for an effect here, so I'm gonna try to dial in something I like. Once again, I know I'm supposed to have a different attack setting, but I just don't want. I'm just hitting the panic button here to stop all the sounds. Nah. You know, with that sound, maybe we could sidechain it to something, you know, so like we have the fast attack here, but we change it from, oh, I wanted to add some noise. It's like a little, so like if it's not there, you miss it kind of deal, right? I was just imagining maybe that would be a layer for somewhere else. Or you know what I could probably do is I can probably route that as in bypass. So my noise I can bypass and send it through effects 1 or past that. So Let's hear how that sounds. It's pretty wicked, huh? Way too much, obviously, though. I'm going to try to dial that in. Oh, that's pretty neat. Oh, that's nuts. You know what we could do, since we're going all out, we can do another LFO, like this one, put it here to the amount, and then we could probably like use, do we have a noise? Oh, you know, we don't have like a, do we? Noise? Yeah, there we go. Wow. And remember, we can also modulate the amount of that, so it kind of fades in some. That sounds cool to me. I think I'm all kind of, I mean, I could probably do more with it, but why? So yeah. It's a pad, and we're going to call it Sparkles. Good. So our three pads are starting with wavy, and then wavy gravy, probably turn that one up a little bit, and then we did Sparkles. Which is definitely different, right? So yeah, I hope that was helpful. I know we did a lot of extra stuff, but I wanted you guys to see how you can combine these ideas. Remember, this is my second time through the program. So, and plus, I've been reading the manual on Massive like almost every morning. So I've been really waiting to try some of these ideas out. Previously, I went through with the analog synth inside of Ableton, and it's just a very basic synth that you don't have, you know, up to 4 LFOs in it. You get 2. And you could do a lot of the same stuff, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't have dimension expander, and even if it did, you wouldn't be able to modulate it with an LFO. I think with Live 10 you'll be able to do that, or with some like Max for Live devices, but it's not all in one thing. you know, even though X for Records, Steve Duda released like a dimension expander based on this, whatever, you know, noise. Oh, I mean, with the analog synth, I don't think you can do the noise bypass, you know, and then how would the noise, it just doesn't make any sense. You know what I'm saying? Like in the routing tab, you can't bypass it and put it after your effects. First of all, analog doesn't have effects. And so even if it did have a bypass, you'd have to have the noise coming after your effects, which is impossible. I mean, how would you do it? You couldn't. You just basically couldn't. You'd have to set up like an instrument rack or something. I'm not hating on Ableton, but this is massive. It's its own kind of little sound design tool. So, you know, like I'm telling you, with the basic stuff you're going to learn inside of Syntorial, this is the kind of thing you're going to be able to do. And it also shows, don't get, what am I going to say? Oh yeah. Don't just stick with the first sound you make. You know, if you're doing sound design, I always imagined that deadmau5 probably would make like 10 of any sound that he wanted. I doubt he's that strict about it, but your best idea might be your first one, but you're not going to know unless you have some other ones to compare it to. Like, I would have never thought to go down this path, you know, prior to doing it. I was pretty content with the first two. I thought they were nice. But then I was like, well, let's just go for it. Why not? And it ended up being like, you know, very different. And whether I use that in a track, probably not. I like to do my stuff in the moment. But anyway, hopefully that was helpful, guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being a patron. This has been a patron-only video for $3 donors and up. So thank you very much for that. And I'll see you next week. Peace.